So I have a group, and it's called Midlife Bulimia Recovery Group on Facebook. We're a small group. Some of them are like thousands of people. Mine is small, and I like it that way because it's interactive. People can hear and listen what they're saying.
Right.
And this is for women who are in their 40s, and it's amazing. There's people in their 40s and their 50s and 60s still struggling with it, where,
I know.
right? And society thinks, oh, bulimia, that's for, teenagers and 20-year-olds, but it's not. I want to continue with more on, but I do have this one question I just want to ask, because she said, please ask it. She goes,
Sure.
why am I so tired? I've been sleeping for hours at a clip. Is it normal for me at 44 to be in death sleeps? And this is somebody who's struggling with bulimia. And I found that an interesting question.
Is it normal for me at 40 something to be in what?
Death sleeps.
Spell it.
DEATH. Death sleeps.
Oh, death sleep.
Yeah.
No. Well, my experience with tiredness is that something is being imploded. So let's give you an example. Folks, I was talking earlier about concepts, about who you are and how the world works. People have all sorts of concepts about anger, for example. A lot of people put that in the category with meanness or cruelty. People have concepts about sadness. A lot of men, sadness in the category with weakness or dependency. Believe it or not, some people implode joy. In other words, they grew up in families with, it's kind of like children are to be seen and not heard. It's like they've never had a bunch of belly laughs or anything. So some people implode sadness, some people implode sexual feeling. Well, let's just take anger, for example. It relates to her question, Lorianne. So imagine if in my life, I grew up seeing anger be destructive. Maybe when I wailed or something, my mother went away from me, or perhaps maybe I saw my father brutalize my mother. Okay. When that happens, I develop an injunction against that very natural energy called anger. So when anger, and that's not true for me, by the way, but it's true for a lot of people. So when anger comes up, let's imagine that someone tends to block it. Well, before long, not only do they know they're blocking it, because it becomes a habitual behavior, but they block that energy called anger. They block it. And they use up energy in the blocking process. So that's why depressed people are tired. So you depress that energy. You don't even know you're doing it. It manifests firstly with shallow breathing, tension in the trapezius, and tension or discomfort wherever your weakest area is. So that gets bottled up. It could happen with joy. It could happen with sexual feeling. It can happen with sadness, as I said. So, but it's habitual. People don't know they're doing it because it starts at an early age. So over time, they're living in a duality. One part of them pressing on another part of them. What the gremlin taming method is about is becoming whole, W-H-O-L-E, okay? Whole. Instead of being in duality, being in reality, where everything in you is flowing one direction, okay? So people who don't do that tend to get tired. Now, I don't know with regard to the person who raised the question, if that is what's going on, but I will say this I'm assuming it's a her. I think you've actually used the pronoun. It doesn't matter why. In other words, I gave an example of what if I saw my dad brutalize my mom or whatever. It doesn't matter why. The key to ask yourself is, how at this moment am I wearing myself out? Whether you're causing the lack of sleep or just contributing to it, start asking yourself, how in the hell am I doing that right now? And remember those poisons I mentioned, and it could be all of them. I'm either scaring the hell out of myself, beating the heck out of myself, miring myself in regret, and it could be all of these, trapping myself in a concept of I'm always going to be tired, I'm never going to be any better, this is me, this is my existence, or clinging to a resentment. And I'll bet you, if she takes a look at which of those am I doing, or am I doing all of them, remember what I said earlier, in the moment she's doing them, and the way you you shine a bright light on it by accentuating it, just as I was responding to Roy's question about that. You accentuate it, you practice doing that, and accentuate what you're doing to your body. Do it more for 30 seconds or a minute, and then exhale fully several times. And when you inhale after exhaling, when you inhale, take in all of the air that you want and exhale fully again. Okay. And think in terms of oxygenating all of those key points of tension you noticed when I had you accentuate the front end of that process. Okay. And then leave the theater. The person raising the question, I can tell you, you're not going to work this out in your head. It's not going to happen. You're not going to think your way to peace. You got to learn to leave the theater, come here into your immediate surroundings. As your home, you don't have to be there all the time, but come home several times an hour.
Yeah.
I hope that was clear. I mean,
That's beautiful. And I will be sharing this. So I'm hoping, I don't bring up names because it is private, but I'm hoping that that the person who wrote that question.
People can also, I mean, folks can book sessions with me if they decide they really want to do that,
Beautiful.
So, I mean, there's a web page, but the email is support@tamingyourgremlin.com.